I'm excited to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale, and here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My Slippers and Sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free.
The studio crowd obviously loves Fridays, and they love the Velvet Hammer himself, Gene Valentino. Good morning.
Good morning. Velvet Hammer is shucking and jiving over here at Studio B.
Little Patti LaBelle to start the segment out. All right, so pretty serious week, actually. I mean, we're feeling good because it's Friday, but our country's in big trouble. I mean, there's so many subjects we could talk about. The border, draining the oil reserves to make you look a little better in the eyes of the voters, student loan debt forgiveness. This is something that just chaps my rear end. Mar-a-Lago, the use of deadly force. You know something? I'll tell you something interesting about that. We talked Wednesday to our Congressman Mike Ezell from the 4th District of Mississippi. And he and I both come out of the law enforcement community. He was, he and I worked together. He was the sheriff of Jackson County, 40 years of law enforcement experience. And he is at a loss to understand how you could have a use of deadly force authorization when you actually have law enforcement officers that are right there at the scene. Why don't you just call their boss and say, hey, we're coming over? No, they had to have this big production where there's guns and use of deadly force authorized. What in the hell is going on in our country?
The hinges have blown off the frame of the door of justice. And I believe, Michael, our comments weeks and months ago when we said we are going to witness the complete meltdown of the Democrat Party is in plain sight before your eyes right now. We watched Donald Trump in the deepest of blue state districts or regions of New York, just outside of Manhattan, the borough of called the Bronx. And in that area, he musters thousands of people in a park to conduct a rally right in the crux, right in the core of AOC's area. And we watched African Americans, Puerto Rican, Native Americans, Asians, and other folks from the melting pot of this nation come out in favor of Donald Trump. Nothing we did. They did it on their own because, well, we all realize things at different times, at different points, in different ways. And New York has had their fill of it. The end of the story, New York and New Hampshire, if they move towards Trump in the election, then like Reagan, Trump enjoys a win, a massive tsunami we talked about on all 50 states. And now you will watch before your very eyes how the Democrat Party throws Biden to the wolves to protect their core interests and preserve their nefarious approaches for future candidates that they will try to manipulate and control. It is right now, you're witnessing Democrats beginning to develop an acceptance of defeat within their own party and how they can extricate themselves from Joe Biden. This is, and we watched on the news last night, and a black man black Puerto Rican, who became a city councilman. He served in different areas of the local boroughs up in New York. He's now a United States congressman in New York, a Democrat, come up to the podium. Trump had everything to lose by pulling this stunt. But what happened was this Democrat black Puerto Rican congressman next to AOC ends up throwing a full, unabridged endorsement for Donald Trump on national television. The tide has turned, and the Democrats, and right on TV, we talked about this half a year ago. Right on TV last night, the reporters interviewed other people in the crowd, African Americans, Puerto Ricans, other Native Americans, and so forth, that admitted on national television the time has come, and they switched from Democrat Party to Republican Party. They didn't go Democrat to Independent. They went Democrat to Republican without a compromise in their thinking. They did it so absolutely, Michael. And if I may go just a second more, here
Sure.
are some quotes I picked. I had to write them down because I was so impressed. This was Trump's best speech in the most difficult area. He said, "It's time to save New York and restore America." He said, "New York has a proud history. Don't squander it." He said, "My father said, tough times make the man." My father said that to me too. He said, "We've got to make it too big for the Dems to rig." He is. "It's time to save New York and restore America. We are going to restore public safety. The 18 to 25-year-old illegals coming in are building a force to take our country away from us. This will change on the first day I come into office. We will begin the largest criminal deportation system in the world. And the Biden migrant invasion was wrong and immoral, and it will change on day one when I seal the border and stop this invasion." 53% increase in crime and violence, and minorities hurt most of all is what we're witnessing. The minorities were hurt most of all by this increase in crime. And so I could continue, but this is truly a game changer. I believe Trump wins nearly all 50 states. I believe he secures the 270 votes needed in the Electoral College to seal the deal.
You know, you and I have the luxury of having been here for some time, and we've seen a lot of politics in our lives. And you and I both were alive and well when Jimmy Carter was president. And we remember that feeling that we had and others in the country. And don't get me wrong, Jimmy Carter, a good man. Jimmy Carter, an honest man. Jimmy Carter, a guy who couldn't pick the right people to be with him. He could have been a successful president had it not been for the very poor choices of the people that surrounded him. So Jimmy Carter was making this country a hard place to live. He was losing respect for the United States in the world because he looked weak. Even though he was a good heart, a good man, that kind of, the things that he did, for example, if you use the hostage crisis as an example, you would say Donald Trump would never handle it that way. Donald Trump would do it a lot different. But more importantly, the Ayatollahs in Iran would be so fearful of what Donald Trump would do to them that none of this would probably have ever happened. But anyway, make a long story short, you and I have seen over the years, we've seen a lot of politics. And this is so much like the Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan time frame that it's just sort of scary. And people have changed their mind. And you have to wonder, sometimes we wonder, you and I talk about this, when do we see people start to realize and understand that their voting patterns are causing these problems. And when they do, it is always bad for Democrats. And I think this year we're going to see a year that is going to be as Biden said the other day, a blood. What did he say? A bloodbath or something? I can't remember. But anyway, it's going to be a bloodbath, but it's going to be a bloodbath for Democrats. What say you?
Well, absolutely true, a bloodbath. You know, the analogy to Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was heartfelt in his senior years before he became more invalid-like. In his senior years after the presidency, he served with good intention on Habitat for Humanity and tried to do some great causes. You know, Biden is not that person. Biden is demonic. Jimmy Carter was not. Biden was intentionally vile and has been in an attempt to hurt not only the Trump regime, but the government as we know it. It's Biden that it has this revolving door that invites Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, Fannie Willis, and others into the White House to strategize a prosecution against a legitimate person. That's illegal. That on face is grounds for impeachment, full stop. And that is wrong, Michael. That is what's hurting this constitutional republic. However, I've said it in the past. The Constitution is being tested, and I believe it's going to survive this bad behavior. I think we need to go back to one of my amendments in the Bill of Rights I suggested that talks about a supreme magistrate system that punishes these wrongdoers way before an election. Oh, I'll just wait until the next election, we'll vote them out. No, it's too late. We may not have a country by then. We need a system in place, which is what I've learned from the Biden administration. Even though we're resilient and able to withstand these wrongdoings, we need a supreme magistrate system to take these people out sooner than later. And I mean remove them from office. I had no other connotation. To remove them from their roles in government sooner than later because of these wrongdoings and suffer criminal charges and time behind bars, the way they're trying to do now to punish Peter Navarro. Are you kidding me? Because he's trying to honor the executive privilege and protect the confidentiality between communications between him and his boss, Donald Trump, serving time behind bars right now for that. You've got to be able, I think the most diehard Democrats see the duplicity, and it's time for justice to take hold and the justice system to be repaired. And no small coincidence, Hillary and James Comey are trying to come back into the picture to defend Biden. Their justice will apply to them someday as well, one way or another.
You're right. You know, you may be watching this on a podcast that Gene and I put on the website, but this is in fact a live show. And I've got a text here from a friend who said he's all for your amendment, and he says Trey Gowdy for Supreme Magistrate.
Oh yeah. Very good, whoever that loyal viewer watcher is, but that's absolutely true. Trey Gowdy and hundreds of more that are elected by we the people. That Trey Gowdy position as Supreme Magistrate is not appointed. It wouldn't be appointed by the elected official doing the bidding for that elected official. Oh no, that's the point. The Supreme Magistrate would report straight to the Supreme Court of the United States, and the Supreme Magistrate would impose sanctions against the wrongdoer immediately, like a cop.
Well, maybe opinions will change and circumstances will change, and we can get something like that done. I'm not hopeful that that's going to happen anytime soon, even in our lifetime, to be honest with you. But anyway,
I tend to agree.
Yeah.
But it's a good idea.
It is a good idea. Somebody has to start the idea somewhere. And, you know, you and I might plant some trees out in the yard knowing that we'll never be able to enjoy their shade, but somebody will. And so there you have it. Gene, thanks for joining us, buddy. We'll see you next week.
I got a great sprinkler system, speaking of the trees.
Good deal. Have a great weekend.
Throughout history, the spirit of patriotism has prevailed. The battles may have changed, but the values remain the same. Today, in 2024, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment where the call for unity, freedom, and a better future echoes louder than ever. For more than 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been committed to supporting the values that make our nation great. With affordable plans and reliable nationwide coverage, Patriot Mobile is not just a wireless service. It's a call to action for those who believe in the American dream. Because this year is not just any year, it's the most important year since our nation's founding. Choose a wireless carrier that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.